The farmer is dead. He is dead. And all anyone wants to know is who killed him. Was it an accident or murder? With that opening line, all I wanted to know is, who is this farmer? Because this is a farming community. So, who is dead and who killed him? Now, the book is Broken Country by Clare Leslie Hall, and I believe she is an English writer, and this is her debut here in the US. Now, her writing is really appealing, and it scratched my itch in my brain. She has a way of writing where she's telling you enough information so you can follow the story without lying to you or without being an unreliable narrator. But there are so many questions as you're reading every page that it keeps you engaged with the story, and you really want to know what happened? How did we get here? Now, there's two different timelines in this book. One is in 1968 and the other one is in 1955. In 1955, we are following Beth, who is the daughter of a local teacher. She comes from a very humble family, hardworking family. And one day she is on a walk and she finds this guy that is telling her, "Get away from here, this is my property." However, they start talking. His name is Gabe. They fall in love, and throughout that summer, which is their last, I think this was the period between their senior year and going out to college, that summer, they fall in love. They spend so much time together. Their relationship is so wholesome, even though they come from two different worlds and two different kind of families. Then we're gonna follow Beth in 1968 when she's married to Frank. Frank is the son of a local sheep farmer, and she moves into their family farm. She starts working at the farm, and they seem to be very happy. At the time that this timeline opens is Beth, her husband Frank, and Jimmy, who is Frank's brother. But recently Gabriel, that boyfriend she had that summer, is moving into their town back after getting a divorce from his American wife, and he's now moving into his family home. He is a writer, he is a published author, very successful, and he's now moving into that house with his son Leo. And then we have this other part where it's the trial, where you can see from both perspective, from Gabriel perspective, and from different people perspective, that somebody is gonna go and testify, and it's kind of, you're trying to figure it out, like who's on the stand and who was murdered. Now, as I said in the beginning, this is the kind of book that withholds information from you, which in my case, it's what really helps me be invested in the story, because I need to be able to know this information in order to come up with my own theory in my brain or try to understand where this is going. And I felt like this was such smart writing, at least for the kind of book that I like. So even though this is a historical fiction, romance kind of book, it still has that mystery element that kept me coming back to this book. The chapters are super short and they're always leaving you in a cliffhanger. So once you start this little book, you can't put it down. Now, as I said before, I'm not a romance reader and I don't know about tropes in romance or that kind of stuff, because I really don't, that's not the kind of thing that makes my brain think. I really enjoy the kind of story that always keeps me guessing, and I guess with romance, that's not what happens. But in this case, let me tell you, Frank is one of those guys that he's so perfect, he doesn't exist. And Frank is Beth's husband in 1968. And I'm going to tell you what I wrote down as I was reading his character. He was emotionally intelligent. He worshipped his wife. He allowed for her to make decisions and was able to wait from a distance until she realized what she really wanted without putting any pressure. Very secure of himself, very smart and also very, very loving. Now, Gabriel is pretty much the same, but he's also a good listener. He's very romantic and so supportive. So how is a woman supposed to pick between two perfect men? I think that the author here wrote them in such a wonderful way that you just love them both. Like, you can't really pick who she should stay with. And even if you do, one of them is going to be heartbroken by the end. I have to say that it was really refreshing to see that this was not a toxic relationship. This was not gaslighting, or this was not the kind of relationship where people were hurting each other in order to get away with what they wanted or who they wanted in their lives. So I think that's why it kept me entertained and really got me invested in who she was going to stay with at the end. Now, I also think you should know that flipping the pages of this book, you're going to do it at a high speed. And there's a twist at the end. There's a few that they're all great. It's not like, oh, it's one thing after another and they don't make sense. No, these are really smart twists. But I feel like the very last one, when we finally know who did it, not who died, but who did it, my jaw just dropped. And the reason behind what happened after this person did that, it's just gonna emotionally tear you apart, and in the best way possible, because you hear about all this hate and all this toxicity and all this horrible relationships and love bombing and all these things that are so popular today. But then when you get into a book where these people are just so, I don't know, perfect, for lack of a better word, it kind of makes you be so invested in not only the plot itself, but who they are and how it's going to affect the other person, whoever she decides to stay with. And it's all going to be depending on what happens throughout this trial. So to me, this was a 5-star book. The audiobook is amazing. It's somewhat of a shorter book, and I think by the end of the book, you're gonna really want more pages added to this book. I cannot wait until she releases another book here in the US, and I think that the genre that she was in while she was writing in England, or for the UK, I should say, I think it was a different genre, so I'm going to look into those books, but I'm really looking forward to her next book, because I think her writing, she just proved me wrong in so many levels. So, have you read this book? I only can see praise for this book wherever I see it being reviewed. Check out Goodreads. I think it has 4.25 or 4.5 stars. So I think you should give it a try. Even if you follow me for mysteries and thrillers, I think that the mystery in this book is good enough that you're gonna forget about everything else.